Who's tired of living? Who's tired of living? The rate at which his lifespan was consumed was much faster than Long Fei could imagine. Yan Huang also frowned. They won't be able to hold on for much longer. Their cultivation base is gone, and the consumption of their lifespan is much faster than I expected. The ancestor's tone became heavy as well. He was unable to help Long Fei and felt somewhat guilty. However, without the three things he said, he wouldn't be able to help them at all. Long Fei's heart sank as well. Qiu Wandao laughed out loud and said, "Brat, you are the strongest person I have ever seen. Sooner or later, there will be a day when the entire immortal domain will be a sensation for you." The elder drank a mouthful of wine and said, "Old ghost, our entire lives were worth it. We followed a good master and met a good young master. It's worth it." With their cultivation completely gone, their lifespan had reached its limit. Qiu Wandao said, "Brat, in this world, we should work hard like you said, without leaving behind any regrets. We really do not have any regrets. You do not have to worry about us." Long Fei's heart was incomparably bitter. He was unable to say a single word. If it weren't for him, the experts of the Pan clan wouldn't have been able to find them. Ultimately, it was Long Fei who harmed them. Seeing the wrinkles on their faces deepen, their hair turning white, and their age slowly fading away, Long Fei couldn't do anything. This kind of feeling really wasn't pleasant. "Right," Qiu Wandao said, "there's a package inside. I said it's for you. I don't know the person who delivered the package here either, but he doesn't seem to be from the God Emperor Academy. His eyes are very cold." Long Fei walked into the hall. The elder in green took another deep breath and said with excitement, "Awesome! To be able to drink such good wine before death, it's truly worth it." Qiu Wandao also drank a mouthful and said, "To be able to meet the little mistress, it's great. Ha ha ha." The two of them became excited. It was unknown if it was because of the wine or if it was the last bit of energy that came out of the bottle. Long Fei did not dare to look at them because he had failed to do what he said. However, when he opened it, he muttered, "What's this?" At this moment, Yan Huang ancestor almost jumped up as he said, "Heaven's resurrection grass, the stem of the divine cultivating flower, and the nether sea mud, ha ha ha, it's all here." Incomparable excitement. Yan Huang ancestor didn't want to disappoint Long Fei and didn't want to make him blame himself. When he saw these three things, he was incomparably excited because this way he would have a way to make Qiu Wandao and Yu Yang suffer. So be it. He would be able to fulfill what he had said. Like Long Fei, he also wanted to fulfill his own promise. Long Fei also became excited. "Ancestor, are you sure?" Yan Huang ancestor said, "Other than the three things I am not sure of, this one is definitely certain. There is no mistake. It is just these three things." Long Fei also quickly walked to the center of the courtyard and said while looking at Qiu Wandao, "Old Qiu, there's a way." Qiu Wandao looked at Long Fei's excited expression and said, "Kid, what method do you have?" Long Fei said, "I can help you recover your cultivation. I have already found the three items." Finished. Regardless of whether Qiu Wandao agreed or not, she snatched the jar of wine from his hands and said, "Let's drink again next time. Now I want to wake you all up. I want you to break it down and establish it." Without giving Qiu Wandao time to react, Long Fei dragged the two of them into the room. Long Fei said, "This process can be very painful. You must persevere on. You must endure it." Seeing Long Fei's serious expression, the two of them looked at each other and said, "If worst comes to worst, we can just die." The Yan Huang ancestor said to Long Fei, "You don't need to care about what happens next. Leave the power of celestial in your body for me to control." Long Fei replied, "Understood." The idea loosened and was controlled by the Yan Huang ancestor. And it was also at this moment that Long Fei pressed his palm against Qiu Wandao's chest, muttered some words in his mouth, and reminded him, "I've endured. It's about to begin." Break. Ah. Qiu Wandao let out a miserable scream. The meridians in his entire body were broken, and he was drenched in cold sweat. All night, from time to time, a blood-curdling screech sounded from the call, as if a chrysanthemum had been punctured. Early morning, Yen Huang ancestor took a deep breath and said weakly, "It's done." Once he put away his idea, Long Fei's idea controlled her body, and said, "Ancestor, you've worked hard." The Yen Huang ancestor smiled, faintly, and said, "I will be resting for a few days. Don't disturb me during these few days. As for them, you can be at ease. They will recover in a few days." Finished. The aura of the Yen Huang ancestor disappeared amidst Long Fei's broken pubes. In the room, Qiu Wandao sat cross-legged, and so did the old man in green. Both of their breathing were steady, and the wrinkles on their faces had disappeared overnight. They could feel an endless amount of power returning to their bodies. This feeling, it felt so good. Long Fei smiled excitedly and said, "You guys recover yourselves. I'll come see you guys again in a few days." The moment he walked out of the courtyard, Long Fei let out a long breath. The boulder in his heart fell as he looked at the sky and muttered, "Qian Qian, thank you." No doubt about it. This was what Song Qian had gifted him. She had done what she said. Long Fei thought, "Are you all right?" He was a little worried in his heart, and this gratitude, Long Fei remembered it in his heart. Following that, he walked towards the God Emperor Academy's mission hall. "Who do you think you are? You want to steal our mission? Wang Qingshan, why aren't you taking a piss?" Zhou Ling said in disdain. Ever since he joined the Blood Skeleton battle team, everyone was afraid of him. Zhou Ling became more and more arrogant. Last night, when he found out about the news of Long Fei coming back, he immediately thought that arrogant Dragon Squad would charge 500 points in the last 3 days. He had to snipe at Wang Qingshan first. They definitely could not allow Wang Qingshan to receive a B-level quest. Wang Qingshan's face sank and said, "Zhou Ling, don't go too far." Zhou Ling laughed complacently and said, "Too much? What do you mean excessive? If you have the power, then don't call it excessive. Right now, I am a member of the Blood Skeletons team. I can do whatever I want. Are you going to bite me?" Wang Qingshan frowned. A few disciples behind Zhou Ling started laughing at him. It was also at this time. A voice called out, "If you're going to bite a dog, then you're going to turn into a dog." As soon as he finished, Long Fei walked into the quest hall. Zhou Ling smirked and said disdainfully, "Little servant, who did you say was a dog?" Wang Qingshan walked over to Long Fei's side and said in a low voice, "All of the B-level battle team's missions were taken." Long Fei had known that this would be the result. Long Fei looked at Zhou Ling and gave a cold laugh, then pointed at his nose and said, "I said you're a dog. What about it?" Zhou Ling's eyes turned sinister as he cursed, "Long Fei, I think you're tired of living." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei moved and suddenly appeared in front of Zhou Ling, slapping him with his palm. "Who is tired of living?" Chapter 772, Territory of Old Poison. Chapter 772, Territory of Old Poison, Pa. A resounding slap across the face of the mission hall. The slap landed. With a pung sound, Zhou Ling was slapped down to the ground. Half of his face was red and swollen, with blood trickling down the corner of his mouth. The pain was unbearable. Not waiting for him to get up, Long Fei stepped forward. His finger moved as he pointed at the disciples who were rushing over. His voice filled with coldness as he coldly said, "Whoever the F*CK dares to come up and try, I will kill them all." Her cold tone, coupled with the aura of the killing thought, They were instantly crushed. Long Fei lifted Zhou Ling up, and, as if he were carrying a dead dog, stared into his eyes and said, "Don't be cocky in front of me. If you piss me off, I will make you regret coming to this world." Finished. Long Fei's right leg kicked out, kicking Zhou Ling flying out. "Ah!" Zhou Ling screamed out miserably and crawled up from the ground, saying, "A mere service disciple dares to fight with our blood skeleton battle team. See how I play with you to your death." Long Fei's gaze darkened, and he glared at him with cold eyes. Zhou Ling was so frightened that he fell on the ground and retreated again and again. He did not dare to look straight into Long Fei's eyes, and as he patted the ground, he said while retreating, "Long Fei, there's no hope for Arrogant Dragon Squad. You won't be able to gather 500 points in the last 3 days. Ha! You don't even have the qualifications to participate in the ranking tournament. How are you going to fight with us?" Ha ha ha. Zhou Ling laughed loudly. At the same time, he quickly left the mission hall. He really did not dare to face Long Fei head-on. Long Fei's eyes looked like they were about to devour someone. He was extremely afraid. However, he had already achieved his goal for the day. He received all the Rank B team missions and did not give Long Fei any low-level missions. This way, he would not be able to gather up 500 points within 3 days and wouldn't have the qualifications to participate in the ranking tournament. He had already lost before the battle had even begun. In the mission lobby, Wang Qingshan said, "It's really as you expected. I rushed to the mission hall as soon as I could. However, Blood Skeleton Battle used their relationship to get all the B-level quests in advance. The members of the Blood Skeleton are really too despicable. What do we do now? Are we really going to take on an A-grade mission?" Long Fei looked at the team missions. None of the B-class or C-class missions were present, and only the A-class missions were scrolling on the mission screen. Long Fei looked at the mission screen and said, "Senior brother, why don't you take a look at what's the closest mission?" Wang Qingshan said, "Long Fei, why don't we forget about it? Senior brother Dao Feng also wants us to give up. 3 days is too short, and it's too dangerous for you to complete an A-class mission by yourself." Dao Feng did not wish for Long Fei to take the risk either. A grade team quest was too dangerous. Long Fei said, "My style of doing things is to bully me once, I will endure it. Bully me twice, I will never let it go. The Blood Skeleton kept making things difficult for us. If I don't get my revenge, then I'm not called Long Fei." And Long Fei's gaze turned cold, and he did not continue speaking. He could do it, but not his brother. Dao Feng was heavily injured. Long Fei had to avenge this. There were many ways to take revenge. There were many ways to not kill people. And the best way to take revenge for Dao Feng was to stomp the Blood Skeleton battle team down. This was the best way to exact vengeance. Wang Qingshan went silent. Long Fei looked at a mission, walked to the mission window, and said, "Senior brother, may I ask, what are the criteria for finishing a mission in Poison Dragon Mountain?" The senior brother at the mission window said, "This is a mission issued by the Spirit Poison College of Martial Arts Training, later on Poison Spring. Do you want to accept it? The danger level of this mission is the highest among the A-class. The task credit is 180 points. And there is also the special reward of the Spirit Poison College of Martial Arts Training." "All right, this one," Long Fei said. "Senior brother, I'll accept it. Arrogant Dragon Squad." The senior brother checked the window and said, "This is a newly established team. I've registered it for you. You should be more careful." Long Fei said, "Thank you, senior brother." When Wang Qingshan rushed over, Long Fei had already accepted the mission. Poison Dragon Mountain mission. "Long Fei, this is an A-class pinnacle mission. The mission's danger level has reached S-class. This is too dangerous." Wang Qingshan wanted to stop him. "Senior brother Dao Feng, senior sister Han, and the others will not allow you to go." Long Fei said. They don't know, so they will naturally let me go. Don't worry, I'll be back as soon as possible. Finished. Long Fei then walked towards the teleportation circle. Being bullied like this, if he still did not retaliate, he would not be called Long Fei. The more he wanted to stop him, the more he wanted to step on him. The blood skeleton battle team? Wait. Wang Qingshan watched Long Fei leave, and his heart tightened. He did not report to Dao Feng and the others, but instead returned to the College of War Martial Arts and arrived at Master Aoya's residence. He knelt in front of Aoya and said, "Teacher, please teach me the insight into sword skill." Aoya was stunned. "What kind of provocation did you receive so early in the morning?" Wang Qingshan said. "I want to become stronger. To become stronger, please pass on the insight into sword skill to me." Insight into sword skill. A sword art that could see through weaknesses. He was able to see the opponent's weakness in an instant and defeat it with a single sword strike. What? Did he really accept an A-class team's mission? Xiong Feng couldn't help but laugh. What a brainless person. Ha! He really thinks of himself as a root. A-class mission. A 6-star risk factor. This time, he will be the real Poison Dragon Mountain. Zhou Ling covered his painful face and started to curse. Xiong Feng also sneered. When he goes to Poison Dragon Mountain, he won't be able to come back alive either. Don't worry about him anymore. Arrogant Dragon Squad is not bound to have the qualifications to participate in the ranking tournament. Xiong Feng laughed in disdain. Even if there is, he would be squashed to death by our blood skeleton. It would be as simple as killing an ant. Dao Feng, you don't even have the qualifications to enter the ranking tournament. Buzz. With a flash of white light, Long Fei landed. Not too far away was a mountain range that emitted green mist. Poison Dragon Mountain. The mountain range was filled with poisonous plants and demon beastess. It was rumored that the poison in the entire Poison Dragon Mountain was emitted from the poison spring. It was the source of Poison Dragon Mountain's power. Long Fei consumed a poison-avoiding pill that Mantuoluo had given him before and stepped into Poison Dragon Mountain range. Big Brother Azure Dragon, this mountain range seems to be… What do you mean? It looks like it. It's obviously true. Ghost Dragon asked, "What is it?" The Azure Dragon ancestor slightly smiled and said, "This is the territory of the old poisonous creatures. He should be awakening soon." Old poison dragon ancestor. Ghost Dragon became excited and said, "He's got a bad temper, unleashing poison the moment there's a single disagreement. He even died without knowing how he died." Big Brother Azure Dragon, wouldn't the old assembly be in danger? Chapter 773, Physical Body Upgrade. Chapter 773, Physical Body Upgrade. The Poison Dragon Mountain Range was a forbidden area because whether a fighter goes in or a normal person goes in, they have an 80% chance of dying. The other 10% will go crazy. 5% would become puppets. Only 5% of them will make it out alive. And these people won't be able to come back here for the rest of their lives. Too terrifying. It could be said that there was poison in the entire God's martial continent, and that there would only be more of it here. Ding. Power of Celestial Points. 10 points. Ding. Power of Celestial Points. 10 points. The system sounded out continuously. Ding. System notification. Player has been poisoned by the power of Celestial. Your power of Celestial will drop by 10 points in 3 seconds within 1 hour. Ding. System notification. Player has been afflicted with paralytic poison. Within 30 minutes, your right arm will lose its ability to sense and fall into a state of anesthesia. A system announcement rang out every few steps that Long Fei took. All sorts of poisons. Even if he consumed the poison-avoiding pill, it would be useless. The poison-avoiding pill refined by Mantualuo can only defend against some basic poisons, but it is completely useless in this poison dragon mountain range. No way. If this goes on, I'll really be poisoned to death. Long Fei was unable to avoid the poison, and after a while, even if he was not killed by it, he would be exhausted. And then, Long Fei moved a little and asked, "Ancestor, can you sense the thickest part of the poison?" Yen Huang Ancestor said, "About 800 kilometers to the right of you, that is the place with the densest poison. It might be the poison spring that you are looking for." "Who?" Long Fei exhaled and said, 800 kilometers. Boom. When the aura in Long Fei's body exploded, 32 times the usual strength exploded out, and he instantly rushed out. All martial arts in the world, only speed is unbreakable. Completing the mission in the shortest amount of time. Long Fei moved as though he was flying. He did not defend himself either, as these poisons would not be able to take his life in a short period of time, and he had to capture the poison spring in the shortest amount of time before leaving. It was that simple. Rumble, a man with green fur and dressed in armor charged out from the mud. Green-haired zombie, instantly blocking Long Fei's path. The dragon salyer in Long Fei's hands moved and shouted, "Die!" The saber slashed out. Crack! The green-haired zombie was slashed into two and killed with one slash. However, the system did not think of the notification sound, but instead split into two zombies, one flying at a fast speed, rushing towards Xiang Longfei. Looking at the bloody grooves on their heads, Long Fei muttered, "Let me see how many more blades you can endure." The back of the blade moved. Smash their heads. The zombie that lost its head was still charging towards Xiang Longfei. Long Fei muttered, "What the F***CK? You're actually so tenacious." Once the dragon salyer was taken back, Long Fei made a grasping motion with his right hand, "Burning heaven! Let's see if you can still bear it." Fun Tian moved, his spear pierced through, directly blasting the 5 zombies into powder. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 16,000 experience points when killing green-haired zombie, 200 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining zombie blood vein fusion skill. Ding! The blood vein was swallowed by the dragon salyer. However, when the dragon salyer was devouring the zombie blood vein, the small amount of profound qi in it was absorbed by Yen Huang Laozi. He was going to prepare the blood vein for Long Fei, the unparalleled blood vein, which was also a blood vein exclusive to Long Fei. He had already thought about the name, Devourer's Vein. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, more than 10 green-haired zombie appeared on the ground. Each of them were the warriors who had died in the poisonous Dragon Mountain range. The stronger they were, the stronger the zombies would be. The sky-burning dragon gun in Long Fei's hand shook. "Stop me? Then Laozi will kill my way over. Burning heaven! Let's wreak havoc as much as we want." Rumble, rumble, rumble. The sky-burning dragon gun was like a crushed ant, crazily crushing these green-haired zombie. Moreover, he could not even muster up the slightest bit of energy, because these green-haired zombie were too weak. Ding! Ding, ding, ding! The system kept beeping. The experience points began to surge again. 1 man, 1 spear was like a bulldozer, killing crazily, just that during this process, the poison in Long Fei's body had accumulated more and more. His arm became numb. His brain became sluggish. Everything seemed a little out of control. The Azure Dragon ancestor lightly reminded, "Boss, do you need help?" Long Fei said, "No need." He wanted to break through the limits of his fleshly body. This was a type of cultivation for the cultivation of the flesh, and also the cultivation of the big day Tashigata. As long as his body grew stronger, he would be able to better withstand the backlash of the big day Tashigata. Poison cultivation was an excellent training method. Long Fei advanced forward with all his might. A day and night of killing. Long Fei's whole body was about to grow green fur, turning into a green-haired zombie. Both of his fists were incomparably heavy, and his entire body was numb. The poison was flowing through his veins and vessels, already entering his heart. His face turned purple. The Azure Dragon ancestor asked, "Boss, you're going to die soon." Long Fei said with difficulty, "I can still hold on." "Break for me." The burning heaven in his right hand shook, and with a single spear strike, a golden zombie exploded its head. From burning heaven's initial disdain to the point where he could not understand Long Fei, to the end where he became admiration, Long Fei was completely not the same person when he fought with all his might. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing yellow-ranked zombie for obtaining 20,000 experience, 400 power of celestial, and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Frenzied Immortal Stage, level 6. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for having a breakthrough into the 5th level of the Saint rank. The system beep descended. Long Fei's body became light and instantly recovered back to normal. The poison in his blood completely disappeared, and his health point and power of celestial were both in peak condition. More importantly, he had endured it all, and his physical body had been upgraded. The poison now was no longer of any use to him, and his body was already immune to it. Long Fei smirked. Now it should be my turn, right? One day and one night, your father was almost poisoned to death here as well. Luckily, I survived. It was 2F asterisk king, unbearable. What Long Fei wanted was to upgrade his fleshly body. Now that his body had leveled up, he had to increase his speed. He turned to Yen Huang Ancestor and said, "Ancestor, where's my hell core?" Yen Huang Ancestor muttered, "Didn't I tell you not to disturb me? Can't you let me rest a bit? Don't you know that my liver hurts?" Long Fei said, "Cut the crap. Release my hell core. I am going to turn this poison dragon mountain upside down." Yesterday's 10 chapters were the berserk ones that everyone owed back in April. Chapter 774. Chapter 774. Listen to my command. Go find the poison spring from the virtual immortal stage and kill the other people from the 10,000 poisons mountain range. Long Fei moved. In front of him stood 1,000 ghost soldiers. However, compared to last time, these ghost soldiers didn't have much of a breakthrough because they didn't have any cultivation resources. Money! Long Fei thought bitterly in his heart. This is so F asterisk king trash. I need money. It's really a lot of money. Otherwise, how can I afford to raise these people? Without fairy stones and immortal crystals, their cultivations would stop. Long Fei could finally understand how it felt to be unable to progress even a single step without cultivation resources. He did not need immortal crystals, but in the Yen Huang Ancestor, he needed fairy stones to cultivate with the 1,000 ghost soldiers. Understood, boss. The 1,000 ghost soldiers quickly dispersed. Long Fei also quickly pushed forward, thinking, we have to earn money. We have to keep up with the ranks of the Yin soldiers. If not, we won't be able to handle the forces of Dragon Head Mountain in the future. How can I make money? He felt a lot of pressure. He needed these ghost soldiers to help him level up. These ghost soldiers were a killing machine. With them leveling up, it would be very easy. The level of all the Hell Core, S must not fall. Long Fei did not have much business sense, but he knew clearly that the things on Earth were not useful here. Real estate, finance, and even prices. No one cared about them at all. People who trained didn't need a house at all. Finance. What was that? not to mention them. Even Long Fei himself could not figure it out. As for the price, a single pill could feed a cultivator for several days. What kind of price was that? Pills. Long Fei became tense and said, "That's right, I can use my alchemy. As long as I can monopolize the medicine market of God Emperor City, wouldn't money be like flowing water? And then there's the Fengyuan Merchant Union. I must develop a pill that no one else can duplicate. It can help the Fengyuan Merchant Union and earn money." Long Fei made a decision in his heart. Pills were not enough. It had to be known on a special occasion to have an explosive effect. The competition of God Emperor Academy. Long Fei was excited in his heart. If there's a team ranking competition, there's an alchemy competition. If we can win the first place in the alchemy competition and then promote the pills there, even the Pan family would not be able to resist this sensation. Definitely. Alchemy confirmed. What kind of medicinal pellet should I refine? Long Fei started to ponder in his heart. Just my alchemy alone is insufficient. I don't have that much time. And alchemy. I need an alchemy team. Drug race. Long Fei immediately became excited. If I have drug races help, then it won't be a problem. It looks like I'll have to participate in 2 matches in the Academy's tournament this time. Then it's decided. It was also at this time. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 16,000 experience, 200 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 16,000 experience points for killing green-haired zombie, 200 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. The killing machine began to turn. Experience points entered into a state of berserk. This was the power of the Hell Core. Although their cultivation level wasn't high, they were like a swarm of ants that could crazily devour anything. Once their cultivation level increased, they would be even more sharp. Furthermore, the longer the release time was, the easier it would be for him to easily level up while sitting at home. This also strengthened Long Fei's resolve to train his Hell Core. The ghost soldiers slaughtered crazily. Long Fei did not stay idle either, holding onto his dragon spear. He slaughtered all the way. 3 months was not long if he wanted to stomp the blood skeleton battle team to death. His current cultivation level was far from enough, not to mention that the power behind the blood skeleton battle team was the White Tiger Courtyard. He could not let his guard down. One of the 4 matrial halls, his power and influence was peerless. Only by leveling up can I obtain greater strength. Every time he increased Long Fei, he could clearly feel his strength growing stronger. Not only him, the strength of the Dragon Salyer, the Azure Dragon Ancestor, and the other patriarchs also increased along with his level increase. Every time Long Fei broke through with the fusion of his sea of consciousness, he could feel it erupting with an even greater power. Long Fei was the core. It was an engine. Only when he started it would he be able to drive this super sports car. It was unstoppable and unstoppable. 3 hours later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Wild Immortal 7th pin. Yen Huang Ancestor gave a hint and said, "Brat, the power of the ghost soldiers has started to decline. Their time is also up." Long Fei moved and linked with all the Yin soldiers, saying, "Listen to my orders. Come back." Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Streaks of light rushed back. Compared to 3 hours ago, they were extremely weak. 3 hours was their limit. One of the ghost soldiers said, "Boss, 30 kilometers to the west we discovered a dense poison source. We can't get close to it." I noticed it too. There's a dangerous aura coming from inside. Boss, if you want to go, you must be careful. Long Fei was startled. There are places inaccessible to the Yin soldiers. The ghost soldiers were not omnipotent. There were naturally places they could not enter. Furthermore, this was against demon beast without intelligence. If they were against human experts, these ghost soldiers might not be able to gain any benefits. Yan Huang ancestor said, "That should be the myriad poison fists I." Long Fei looked at the ghost soldiers and said, "Brothers, thank you for your hard work. Give me some more time. At that time I will definitely obtain more fairy stones for you all to cultivate." "Thank you, boss." The 1,000 people shouted in unison, and then quickly entered the death-calling god CLS. Yan Huang ancestor said, "I want fairy stones too. I also want to cultivate and break through." Long Fei said, "Don't worry, I won't take all of it from you." And then, with his mind set, Long Fei looked at the valley in the distance and muttered, "That should be the poison spring, right?" The Yan Huang ancestor said, "The poison there is different from other poisons. It's all extremely poisonous, and even the Yin soldiers cannot approach it. If you want to enter, you must be careful." To be able to envelop tens of thousands of kilometers of mountain range in poisonous fog, this poisonous spring was not simple at all. Moreover, Yan Huang ancestor felt that there was a powerful aura hidden under the poison spring, a dangerous aura. The dragon spear in Long Fei's hand shook and said, "Is his poison more poisonous than the chrysanthemum spear in my hand?" Long Fei's spear moved, and his body moved like a mirage as he quickly rushed into the 1,000 Poison Valley. God Emperor Academy. 2 days have passed, and Long Fei still hasn't come back. Could something have happened? Everyone gathered in logistics department's courtyard. This place had become their secret stronghold. Dao Feng also came, his eyebrows tightly knitted, and said, "Why didn't you stop him? Is the Poison Dragon Mountain mission that easy to complete? Don't you know how dangerous Poison Dragon Mountain is?" Everyone fell silent. Han Shueji muttered to himself, "My man will definitely return safely." Table of Contents. Table of Contents. Is the lame duck from Long Fei back yet? Xiong Feng walked out of the cultivation room and asked. Zhou Ling laughed. "Not yet. I think I won't be able to return." "Ha ha ha." 2 days have passed. There's still one last day. If he doesn't return, then Arrogant Dragon Squad doesn't have the qualifications to enter the ranking tournament. Xiong Feng laughed coldly. "Dao Feng, what do you think you're doing is bad? Yet you want to pose me? Isn't this courting death?" With a pleased expression on his face. Moreover, just 10 minutes ago, his cultivation had increased, and he had broken through the second stage of the virtual immortals, who could completely suppress the existence of the entire Arrogant Dragon Squad. Xiong Feng said, "Keep an eye on Dao Feng and the rest. After this academy competition is over, go clean up one by one. Let them know the methods of our blood skeleton battle team." Zhou Ling laughed sinisterly. "Understood." Xiong Feng's clothes were drenched, and his muscles bulged bit by bit as he said coldly, "Dao Feng, even though you are just a tiny ant in front of me, I will definitely not give you any chance. Poison Dragon Mountain Range, 10,000 Poisons Valley." As Long Fei stepped into the poisonous miasma, a kind of green-colored mucus corroded the ground, the sky, and even the entire valley. A pungent smell. In the valley, the sound of flowing water could be heard. Long Fei walked towards the sound of flowing water. The further he walked, the more shocking he became. Heaps and piles of bones corroded by green mucus. There were even large demon beast bones in human bones. Ding. System notification. Player has been infected by nerve paralysis poison. Boom. The golden dragon in his consciousness shook and immediately expelled the poison that was entering Long Fei's body. They did not defend on the outside because Long Fei's body could resist it slightly, but this was the center of the poison spring, and the poison's damage was increased by more than 100 times. Even if Long Fei did not agree, he would still help Long Fei defend. Ding. System notification. Player has been drugged with poison. Roar. The golden dragon roared again, expelling the poison from Long Fei's body. Long Fei was heavily poisoned, but when he walked to the mouth of the spring, his eyes rolled back, and his entire body fell down. The golden dragon master was frightened, and said, What's going on? I've obviously already expelled the poison from my boss body, so how could I faint? The azure dragon ancestor lightly smiled and said, Don't worry, the boss is acting. The moment Long Fei fell, then a snake-like monster with a venomous body and an extremely ferocious appearance rushed out of the water. It looked at the unconscious Long Fei with cold and scornful eyes and said, Human? Humph, not even one hit. Be my middle meal. His body moved, his tongue moved, spinning towards Long Fei as he opened his mouth and swallowed her. At this moment, the dragon salyer in Long Fei's hand descended, aimed at the long tongue, and suddenly slashed, Dark Dragon God slash. Roar. With a roar, the dark dragon god's roar shook the entire place. The powerful might directly intimidated the monster. The saber chi descended. The dragon salyer also descended. A long tongue was cut off, blood spurting out madly. The giant snake also let out a mournful cry. Damn it! You dare to sneak attack me? I want you to die without a burial ground. Roar. It also let out a furious roar that sounded like a dragon's roar. However, its imposing manner was much weaker. A series of venom spouted out of his mouth. The venom carried a strong devouring force, and if it stuck a little, it would devour the power of Celestial crazily and devour the power of Celestial in an instant. However, Long Fei's body was protected by 8 dragons. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 8 loud sounds, the illusions of the 8 golden dragon master, as all appeared, protecting Long Fei's body left and right, forming a golden dragon shield, blocking all of the poisonous liquid. You think you can break through my golden dragon protector with just your venom? Don't even think about getting old poisonous stuff. Golden Dragon Master said, arrogantly. He was in charge of Long Fei's safety, and must not be sloppy at all. When Long Fei faced danger, he would definitely attack with all his might. With 8 dragons in his body, this feeling was so pleasurable that it could explode. Moreover, Long Fei could clearly feel that the power of the 8 golden dragon master S had become stronger, because the power of their dragon heads had become stronger the last time they were in the dragon tomb. Previously, the 8 dragons could not leave the body, but now all of them came out to protect Long Fei. There was only one word to describe the feeling. Awesome. Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, looked at the giant python, and said, Spit again, spurt again. Your father will see how much more poison you still have. The eyes of the poisonous python darkened, but it was not frightened. He had been in this poisonous dragon mountain range for hundreds of years, and all sorts of experts would obediently kneel down in front of him. 1,000 poison spirits spring. Devour his soul. The poisonous python chanted, and the poison spring in the deep pool started to surge. Suddenly, the spring water was like a fountain spurting towards Xiang Long Fei. The dark green poison was even more potent than the poison that the poisonous python had just spat out. Ha ha ha! Humble humans, tremble in my poison spring. The poison python smiled complacently. No one could block this attack. They would all be poisoned by him, because this poison spring was invincible. He had never met anyone who was not afraid of this poison. Let alone people. Even if it was a level 8, a perfect level 9 super demon beast would still be poisoned to death. However, Long Fei seemed to be different. With the golden dragon shield, Long Fei couldn't feel the damage from the poison at all. Long Fei laughed disdainfully. It's not poisonous enough. Can you bring me something else? The eyes of the poisonous python changed. Without waiting for him to speak, Long Fei smiled and said, "You made your move, now it's my turn." Boom! The dragon's salure moved, and the dark aura began to burn. Next, with the undying flames on the body of the ghost dragon patriarch superimposed, the dragon's salure began to burn even more crazily. Long Fei glared at the center of his brows, then became angry and moved. His figure disappeared. The poisonous python's pupils shrank rapidly. It simply could not sense Long Fei's existence. However, his reaction was very fast. He quickly shrunk his body and was about to return to the deep pool. "You want to leave?" "No way." With an explosive sound in the air, the dragon salure in Long Fei's hands chopped down. "Killing God Chop, get down." Boom! With a loud sound, the power of divinity slaughter burst out from the dragon's salure. A blade slashed across the sky. It landed heavily on the head of the poisonous python. Ah! The poisonous python let out a violent cry as the dark green poison on its head gushed out like a fountain. Its body struggled continuously as it let out a series of roars. "You want to kill me? I won't let you get off easy either. 10,000 venom shroud. I will turn the entire poison dragon mountain into a sea of poison. I will make it so that you will never be able to leave." The azure dragon ancestor secretly exclaimed, "This is bad." Chapter 776, 10,000 Poisonous Python. Explode. Chapter 776, 10,000 Poisonous Python. Explode. Long Fei's mind was also tightened. Holy SH *T. The boss is about to use its most powerful skill. Actually, Poison Python was not strong. According to the classification of realms, Poison Python was probably only at most virtual immortal stage. However, the strong one was not him, but the poison spring under his body. He could control the poison spring water. To be able to turn the entire 10,000 poisons mountain into a sea of poison, Long Fei would truly be trapped here, like he had said, unable to leave. The spring water inside the poison spring surged up crazily, becoming stronger and stronger. In the end, it poured out like a sluiced flood. "Is he crazy?" The azure dragon's ancestor shouted. "How can the poisonous springs of old poisons be controlled by this sort of trash?" Blood dragon ancestor said. "The old poisonous substance should be in the poison spring due to the seal." And then the azure dragon ancestor immediately thought of opening the blood dragon and ghost dragon seal and said to Long Fei, "Boss, drip your blood essence into the spring." Long Fei didn't pay any attention to him and said, "You want to trap this daddy to death? I want to kill you too." The amount of blood on the head of the poisonous python was almost depleted. "You are about to die, but you still dare to act so arrogantly. Can you tolerate this?" Long Fei could not tolerate it. He could not care about some poison spring seal. He only had one goal, and that was to kill this boss and cripple him. Long Fei moved his body, keeping the dragon's salure. Fentian fell into his hands and shouted, "A little cold light will arrive first, and then the spear will come out like a dragon. If you believe in your master, you will live forever. Let me show you the power of my chrysanthemum spear." Long Fei's chi burst out, and the power of the Yuan Long's head in his sea of consciousness burst out. The aura on Long Fei's body became unstoppable. It was just that. The sky-burning dragon gun did not have a reason. He was a dragon spear. Sky-burning dragon gun. How did it become a chrysanthemum spear? Too depressing. However, even though he was depressed, he still burst forth with his strength. Swish, 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 swish. Spears blossomed in all directions, and each of the spear's shadows roared furiously like a dragon. In a split second, the severely injured poisonous python was pierced to the point that its entire body was pierced with holes. The venom on his body gushed out violently. The poisonous python let out a scream that was even more miserable than the previous one. It was as if its chrysanthemum had been blown apart by a dozen strong men. Arrogant? Poison me? I called you arrogant. I called you cocky. Long Fei cursed out arrogantly. The dragon spear in his hand did not stop as it rapidly struck down. The poisonous python roared angrily, I want you to die. I want you to die. Ah! The remaining poison spring surged even more violently as a huge wave smashed down, and Long Fei was drawn into the deep pool by the poison spring. The poisonous python let out a furious roar. Die! F***CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart as his body crawled. He did not swim out of the deep pool. Instead, he drilled into the depths of the pool. Suddenly, he saw a six-pointed formation deep within the pool. He was extremely familiar with this formation. It was the seal's health, the formation that Ghost Dragon was using. And then, Long Fei thought of what the Azure Dragon ancestor said, and thought to himself, damn, could it be that there's also a seal below this dragon? What the hell? I don't care. Let's blow this guy up first. Long Fei's heart moved. He drilled into the depths, and the dragon spear in his hand trembled. Long Fei's idea moved, and said, Burning heaven, the time to prove you has come. Sky-burning dragon gun. He was speechless, because Long Fei was truly looking at the poisonous python's chrysanthemum. Long Fei's mind stirred, and he roared, Chrysanthemum explosion spear. Gripping the dragon spear with both hands, just like the 1,000-year kill move from the Fire Shadow Ninja. Only that was a finger, while Long Fei's fingers were holding the dragon spear. It viciously charged towards the poisonous python's chrysanthemum. Explode for me! The spear stabbed into the poisonous python's chrysanthemum. The poison python's body suddenly shot out. It stood upright, so much so that even its voice could be heard. Its eyeballs seemed like they were about to pop out of their sockets. He even felt pain. Rumble! As the dragon spear stabbed into the poisonous python's chrysanthemum, the power on the dragon spear exploded. The powerful force directly caused the poisonous python's body to explode. Only the chrysanthemum ring was left on the dragon spear. Long Fei smiled and said, Burning heaven, you have proven yourself. You are a good chrysanthemum spear. The sky-burning dragon gun was completely speechless. Now, he regretted following Long Fei out. This guy was too dangerous. He's a dragon gun, the supreme dragon spear. It was a foreign divine weapon, but in Long Fei's hands, it had turned into a chrysanthemum spear. Boom, boom, boom. The body of the poisonous python exploded bit by bit, and its health point was also completely digested. The system sounded out, causing Long Fei's mind to tighten, and said secretly, Release your striking energy value. Holding his breath, he muttered in his heart, Explode. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 10,000 poisonous python, for obtaining 100,000 experience, 30,000 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10,000 poisonous blood vein. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 10,000 poisons immortal root. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10,000 poisonous python gallbladder. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the myriad poison dual blades. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Zhuge sword fragment 1. The system beeped crazily. Every time a system announcement rang out, Long Fei would be extremely excited. Brutal is great. Ha! Patriarch, leave the 10,000 poisonous dual blades for me, and leave the 10,000 poisonous immortal roots for me too. I will be useful with these 2 things. Long Fei did not wait for Yen Huang ancestor to make a move and immediately said, Dao Feng used dual blades, and the 10,000 poisons dual blade was tailored for him. With this weapon, even if he met with Xiong Feng with a higher cultivation than him, he would still be able to fight. As for the 10,000 poisons immortal root, Man Tualuo cultivated a spirit poison pill. This immortal foundation could not be any better for her. Yen Huang ancestor replied, 10 immortal crystals. Long Fei replied, 4. Yen Huang ancestor said, 8. Long Fei said, 5. Yen Huang ancestor said, 6. Long Fei said, Deal. The 6 immortal crystals will be recorded on the account. After our academy finishes competing, we will refine a supreme great immortal pill and then pay it back to you. As long as Long Fei said he wanted it, Yen Huang ancestor would not move. He knew that Long Fei needed to nurture his own strength. The current god's martial continent may seem calm, but in reality, it was an undercurrent surging violently. Long Fei was in the eye of the storm. The heavenly hall of immortals, western demons, and dark domains Song Qiancheng were all staring at him fixedly. As long as they could find him and find the dragon domain, that strong storm would engulf him in an instant. Long Fei needed to have her own power, a strong power. Yen Huang Laozi could not help him, but as long as it was something useful to Long Fei, he would not devour it. Long Fei looked at the object within the space ring. Another piece of Zhuge's sword. I still need 2 more, and another 3 pieces will be enough for me to rebuild the Zhuge sword. The real Long Fei wanted to emphasize the matter of the Zhuge sword. Golden Dragon Master could not hold on much longer. He said, Boss, hurry up. I can't hold on much longer. The Azure Dragon Ancestor also followed. Boss, hurry up and open the seal. Chapter 777, Poisonous Dragon, Returning. Chapter 777, Poisonous Dragon, Returning. Even the golden dragon shield was unable to withstand the corrosion of the ocean of venom. Golden Dragon Master couldn't hold it. Boss, hurry up and open the seal. The golden dragon can't take it anymore. Long Fei was shocked and immediately replied, Understood. The vampiric vine appeared in the air, and with a slap of the palm, the vampiric email protected and then light spread in all directions as a powerful formation shot into the sky. An angry dragon covered in venom roared out from the formation. A dragon's roar shook the heavens. After being struck by the seal for more than 2 million years, he was finally free. He felt indescribably excited. A few seconds later, the poison dragon ancestor landed and bowed, saying respectfully, Greetings, boss. Poison dragon ancestor. It was the dragon clan's poison ancestor. Poison pellet, venom, all the poisons in the world, they were all under his control, and they were all incomparably ferocious. And he was also the 13th warlord of the Yuan, Long Fei said. There's not much more to say. Let's return to our position. Yes, sir. The poisonous dragon let out an excited cry as its figure flashed and rushed into Long Fei's body. Ding! System notification. Poison dragon ancestor has returned. Inside Long Fei's body, Poison Dragon Patriarch let out an excited roar. The Azure Dragon Ancestor said, What the heck are you trying to say? You're still the Dragon Clan's poison ancestor, so how could you be taken over by a little snake? You almost took our boss's life. Do you want to become a sinner for eternity? Big brother Azure Dragon, you're here too? I thought I was the first to return. The poison dragon ancestor became even more excited. When he felt the existence of the Azure Dragon ancestor, it was as if he had seen his family. That sort of excitement was indescribable. More than 6 million years. Seeing his clansmen again was an exciting feeling. You're the first one? Old Poison, You're the last one. The blood dragon said disdainfully. The poison dragon patriarch grew excited again. Big brother blood dragon. The black dragon coughed and said, Me too. Poison dragon patriarch said, Big brother black dragon. Ghost dragon's ancestor also followed. Old poison, I feel like you should keep all of this venom. If boss has any problems, I really won't forgive you. Poison dragon patriarch started laughing loudly. Brother ghost dragon, ha ha ha. Since we're all here, then the 8 golden dragon brothers must be here as well, right? The 8 golden dragons shouted in unison, Old Poison, how have you been? Poison dragon patriarch was so excited that tears were about to fall from his eyes. All my brothers are here. Ha ha ha. After more than 6 million years, we have finally reunited. This is too exciting. The Azure Dragon ancestor said, Let's not talk about this for now. First, we have to collect these poison springs venom. Poison Dragon Patriarch laughed and said, What kind of bullshit poison spring water is this? This is the urine I've poured over 6 million years. Ha! Azure Dragon Ancestor. Black Dragon Ancestor. Blood Dragon Ancestor was also dumbstruck. You F*** king dared to let boss soak in your urine? Ghost Dragon asked, Are you crazy? None of them were worried. After all, they were inside Long Fei's body, and not soaking in them. Moreover, the only one who was soaking in the water was the 8 great protective golden dragons. The eyes of the 8 golden dragons widened as they stared at the poison dragon ancestor with a strong killing intent. The poison dragon also realized that he had said the wrong thing as he smiled awkwardly. I'm sorry. I couldn't hold back my happiness any longer. Golden Dragon Master said, Hit him. After that, the 12 Dragon Clan forefathers ganged up on the old man, beating him so hard that his entire face was swollen like a bloody dragon. The old ancestor didn't cry out in pain, but was laughing excitedly. In the past, he loved to teach people a lesson, especially these 12 generals, the dragon ancestors. This feeling that he hadn't felt in a long time made him happy. He smiled excitedly. As he smiled, his tears started to drip down his face. I've missed you all to death for the past 6 million years. All the dragons froze. 6 million years. That's really been a long, long time. Moreover, how many dragons did the dragon race still have left? They don't know. The only ones that could survive through that calamity were the dragons in the seal. As for the other dragons, no one knew if they could survive. This relationship was like wine. The longer it went on, the thicker the fragrance became. The poison dragon's ancestor said, Big brother Azure Dragon, the calamity is almost here again, right? Was there a way to deal with it? Boss, how come your cultivation is still at arrogant immortal state? How can someone at this level possibly withstand a tribulation like this? This time, if our dragon race loses, we will never have a place to stand. The Azure Dragon ancestor's expression darkened, and he said, All of our hopes are placed on him. We have to believe in our boss. We have to believe that he will definitely be able to do it. I believe him, Blood Dragon ancestor said in a deep voice. Ghost Dragon said, I trust him too. Black Dragon ancestor said, She and I will last the longest. She will definitely be able to withstand this calamity, and she will definitely be able to bring us back to the peak of the dragon tribe and return us to the divinity. After what happened at Dragon Head Mountain, they were even more determined to kill Long Fei. He is the Yuan Long. The Yuan Long was him. 6 million years ago, when he was reborn, he would definitely be able to block this storm. They firmly believed in this. As they were discussing, Long Fei had already drilled out the venom's water surface. If he knew that this was the venom dragon's urine, that had accumulated for more than 6 million years, he would have definitely cut it off. He nearly died from the poison inside. Returning back to the valley, Long Fei filled a pot with poisoned spring water, then looked towards the direction of the God Emperor Academy and muttered, "We should be able to make it in the last half a day." The poison dragon's ancestor said, "Boss, what do you need my urine for?" The azure dragon ancestor's eyes widened. "Old poison, you are indeed just like 6 million years ago. You are mentally deficient." Long Fei's eyes flashed, and he immediately shouted, "What did you say just now? Poison spring is your urine. You, poison dragon, come out. I'll definitely cut your dragon." Long Fei felt unwell all over. The old ancestor immediately said, "Boss, I'm joking." Long Fei said, "Are you joking?" The poison dragon's ancestor continued, "Not only is there urine, there is also—" Long Fei immediately became disgusted. "You can't be shitting inside, right?" Poison Dragon Elder could not hold it in and said, "Boss, you're too smart. No wonder you're the boss. You've struck it with a single guess. Awesome." Long Fei had completely collapsed. Long Fei roared, "You bastard, get out here right now, get out here right now. I'm going to wring your head off." Too disgusting. The azure dragon ancestor looked at the poison dragon ancestor with an expression of helplessness. Yan Huang ancestor asked, "Why are you so angry?" Long Fei scolded, "If you knew that you were swimming in the latrine while others were paddling, and yet you were drawing dung and urinating, what would have happened to you?" Yan Huang ancestor said, "I will definitely pull that person down and let him drink all of the **T and urine back." "Brat, just now you couldn't have—" "Ha ha ha." Yan Huang ancestor could not help but laugh out loud. "Who touched you? Who touched you?" Although Long Fei wasn't touched by the poison in the poison spring at all, he still felt disgusted. He finally understood why the Poison Dragon mountain range was filled with poison. So, the entire mountain range's fertilizer was provided from the urine of Poison Dragon ancestor. If that was the case, how could it not become a poisonous mountain? This fellow was simply too disgusting. God Emperor Academy. In the mission lobby, Dao Feng, Han Xueji, Wang Qingshan, and the others were waiting. Apart from them, Xiong Feng watched as Zhou Ling and a few other members of the Blood Skeleton Battle team walked over. Xiong Feng laughed with pride. "Oh, isn't this a powerful, arrogant dragon squad? What do you mean by more crazy than the dragon god of the 9 heavens? Why are all of them now as miserable as a dead dog? Aren't you a dragon?" Dao Feng's face turned green. Looking at the Xiong Feng, his brows tightened. He secretly clenched his fists. Xiong Feng had broken through again, and he was no longer Xiong Feng's opponent. Zhou Ling said with a cold smile, "Quan Long transformed into a dead dog. Ha ha! We'll just call them damn dog squads from the start. Ha ha ha!" A few of the Sunderlings laughed out loud. Han Xueji's face sank as he stared at Xiong Feng. "Xiong Feng, you're done." The corner of Xiong Feng's mouth curled up and revealed an evil smile. "Senior Sister Han, I still have to say the same thing. As long as you accompany me for 1 day, I will let your arrogant dragon squad go." Bam! The big-sized man beside Han Xueji immediately became angry. Xiong Feng said in disdain, "Big guy, wasn't the lesson last time enough? Do you still want to die?" Last time, the big guy had been beaten by Xiong Feng. The big-sized man was not a match for Xiong Feng at all. The disparity was too great. Han Xueji held on to the big-sized man and said, "If you want me to accompany you, I'm afraid you won't be able to take it." Xiong Feng laughed obscenely and said, "Senior Sister Han, other people cannot handle it, but I am different. Why don't we go into the small forest and try it out to see? Who can't?" Cluck, cluck, cluck. Wang Qingshan and Zheng Qingsong gritted their teeth. and were filled with incomparable rage. Han Shueji indicated for them not to be angry. This was outside the mission hall, and if he were to make a move in public, the consequences would be dire. Dao Feng said solemnly, "Xiong Feng, what exactly do you want to do?" Xiong Feng's gaze sank as he stared at Dao Feng and said, "I don't want to do anything. I just want to see how you two will be able to enter the ranking tournament." Zhou Ling intentionally asked, "Brother Feng, you still don't know, right? They don't even have the qualifications to enter the ranking tournament. The team still hasn't gotten 500 points yet." Xiong Feng pretended to be enlightened and said, "So that's how it is. Senior fellow apprentice, Dao Feng, do you want me to lend you a few hundred points? Kneel down and beg me. I will definitely lend it to you." Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The people from the blood skeleton once again mocked him. Xiong Feng had come to the mission hall to ridicule arrogant dragon squad, and he also wanted to know if Long Fei could complete the mission at Poisonous Dragon Mountain. If he really dared to complete the mission, then the people he arranged for in the call would immediately do the same to Long Fei, as they wanted to teach him a lesson. The anger stirred in Dao Feng's heart. He was furious, but now he had to sit in a wheelchair. Xiong Feng looked at Dao Feng's furious expression and laughed. "Senior fellow apprentice Dao Feng, you're really angry? Are you very unhappy? Don't say that I didn't give you a chance. I'll give you 3 moves. Seeing as you're crippled, I'll let you have 10 moves. If you can touch the corner of my clothes, then even if I lose, I'll give you 300 points." Xiong Feng looked at Dao Feng playfully. Playing with people was his favorite thing to do. Dao Feng was so angry that his entire body was trembling. Every member of the arrogant dragon squad had incomparably ugly expressions on their faces. Who could endure being bullied to such a degree? Dao Feng used both hands to prop himself up from the wheelchair and said, "Let me see just how strong you, a second stage virtual immortals cultivator, is." He propped himself up with his hands. Without waiting for him to support his body, Zhou Ling suddenly moved and overturned his wheelchair. Crash! The wheelchair was crushed to pieces, and Dao Feng fell off the wheelchair. Ha ha ha! Xiong Feng laughed madly, pointed at Dao Feng, who was on the ground, and said, "You can't even stand up. You still want to fight with me? You dead cripple. Do you have the qualifications to fight me now? Not to mention you. Even if it's your entire team, I alone can crush your shit out of you." Seeing Dao Feng unable to get up from the ground, the members of the blood skeleton laughed crazily. Zhou Ling smiled and said, "The captain of the arrogant dragon squad. He's completely a piece of trash. What dogs hit dragon? Its name is clearly called, yet it's a group of trash. Ha ha ha. What a bunch of trash." The moment the wheelchair collapsed, Han Shueji rushed up and helped Dao Feng up. "Senior fellow apprentice, don't be provoked by his words." Dao Feng laughed bitterly and said, "It's me who is useless. If I use it, I won't be attacked by anyone, and I won't let Long Fei enter Poison Dragon Mountain alone. I'm useless." Dao Feng was blaming himself in his heart. He wanted to leave something behind in the last year in the God Emperor Academy. If his team could enter the top 10, then his dream would come true. Once upon a time, his dream was to enter the top 10 teams, but that year he was mocked by others. No team accepted him or mocked him. As a result, he began to use all his strength to create his own team. After 3 years of hard work, the team was only able to stay at 16th place. This was his limit. He knew that he wouldn't be able to fulfill the dream of the top 10 teams. However, Long Fei's appearance gave him a glimmer of hope, but how could he have expected Xiong Feng to sneak in an attack on him while he was on his mission? Injured his legs. Originally, it should have been easy to complete the 500 points in the team, but it was already the last day, so the chances of Long Fei returning was minuscule. Even if he came back, he wouldn't be able to complete the Poison Dragon Mountain mission. That task was too difficult. There were many teams that couldn't be completed, and he couldn't do it alone. The last bit of hope in his heart was shattered. Being stomped into the ground by the Blood Skeleton battle team, he hated him in his heart, hated himself for being useless. If he was a little stronger, he wouldn't have become like this. It seemed like he would still have to leave the God Emperor Academy with regret in the end. Just as the members of the Blood Skeleton battle team were laughing loudly, a figure appeared in the square. He walked over step by step. His eyes were gloomy. What happened just now was clearly seen by him from afar. Long Fei is back. Zhang Qingsong's eyes flashed as he shouted excitedly, "Young Master Long!" At this moment, everyone looked at Xiang Longfei, including Xiong Feng and the others. Long Fei walked quietly to Dao Feng's side and asked, "Senior fellow apprentice, who was the one who touched you just now?" Chapter 779, Disabling. Chapter 779, Disabling. His voice was ice cold. A killing intent emanated from him. When Zhou Ling saw the pain on Long Fei's face, he subconsciously took a step back. Dao Feng grabbed Long Fei, his gaze indicating that he should not be reckless in public. Long Fei didn't care that much and asked again, "Who touched you just now?" "Is it the manual or the two hands?" Xiong Feng sneered and said, "Brat, are you very arrogant?" Long Fei's finger moved as he pointed at Xiong Feng's nose. Without even looking at him, he said, "You don't have the qualifications to speak to your father. Scram." Last time he made a move on Dao Feng, Long Fei was already infuriated. However, Long Fei knew that he was also furious in his heart. He also wanted revenge, and he wanted to take revenge with his own hands. Thus, Long Fei did not move Xiong Feng and left Xiong Feng with Dao Feng. Xiong Feng's face turned sinister. The muscles at the corners of his eyes twitched. He clenched his fists and coldly said, "No one has dared to be arrogant in front of me. Brat, I think you're tired of living." Long Fei did not pay any attention to him and continued to ask, "Who was the one who touched you just now?" At this moment, the air was filled with the smell of gunpowder and the feeling of imminent danger. Dao Feng's eyes lightly shook and said, "Long Fei, forget it." Zhang Qingsong was a quick mouth and said, "How can I forget about it? They were playing with you just now, so we can't let this go. Brother
Young
Feng,
Master Long,
save me. If senior
save
fellow
me.
apprentice
Brother
Dao
Feng,
Feng doesn't speak,
as speed just
then
now
I will
was too
say,
fast.
it's that
Xiong
Ling
Feng,
as soon as
simply
he
could not
finished.
react at all.
Long
But
Fei
by the
raised
time
his
he had
eyes.
reacted,
Although
his
he
mind
had
was
seen what had
already
just happened,
completely stunned
he did
by
not
the aura
see
being
who had done
emitted
it.
from Long Fei's
His eyes
body.
stared at Zhou Ling.
Too terrifying.
"It's you again?"
The dragon
Zhou
aura
Ling
coming from
trembled
Long
slightly.
Fei's body
He
could
forced
crush
himself
everything.
to calm down
Xiong
and
Feng
shouted,
"Little
"Long
servant,
Fei, you dare.
I'm still afraid that you
Long
will
Fei
fail if you
continued to
dare
ignore
touch
him,
me,
and
the
asked
Blood
again,
Skeleton battle
left
team
hand
will
or
let you
right
take the
hand?"
consequences."
Zhou Ling was
At this
so
moment,
scared that he was
before
crying.
Zhou Ling could finish
He peed from
speaking,
his pants.
Long
as he
Fei's
said,
figure disappeared.
"Brother Fei,
Brother
Zhou Ling's
Fei,
eyes
I
were
won't
wide open
dare
as
to
he
do it
screamed,
again.
Brother
I won't
Feng,
dare to do it
save
again.
me. Please
Dragon
spare me
Palm,
once.
I won't dare to do it
Roar,
again."
roar. Long Fei
The
shouted
sound of a
again.
shaking
Left
dragon's
or right
roar
hand?
resonated
Zhou
from
Ling
Long
protected
Fei's
both of
palm
his hands
after
tightly
3 consecutive
and said,
strikes.
"Brother
It was
Fei,
as if his
spare me.
palm had
I
smashed
really
down
won't dare
ruthlessly.
Xiong
Pop,
Feng
pop, pop.
shouted in anger.
It was
Long
incomparably
Fei,
loud.
if you
There
dare
was a
touch
sonic
him,
boom within
Blood
the
Skeleton
sounds,
will never
as
be
though
able
a
to let you
fierce
go.
dragon had struck,
Not waiting
causing
for
Zhou
him
Ling
to
to not be
finish.
able to react
Long
at all.
Fei said,
The 3
"You won't
slaps
say
were
it,
too
right?
fast.
That means
and
you
half
have
of his
2
face had been cut
hands."
off.
In
It
the
was a
instant
mess of
he finished
flesh
speaking,
and blood.
Long
His
Fei
whole
suddenly
body
moved his
instantly
hands
fell
to
to
the
grab
ground
hold of Zhou
and
Ling's
let out a
hands.
scream,
And with a kick
like
of
a
his
pig
right
being
leg,
butchered.
he heavily
Not even
stepped
that.
onto the joints.
Long Fei's gaze was
Ah.
dark and cold as
And
she
then he
asked,
stomped down.
"Left hand,
Crunch.
or right hand?"
Ah.
Both
Zhou
his
Ling's
hands
body
were broken,
trembled,
his bones
as
were
blood
shattered,
spurted out
and
from
his
the
hands
corner
were
of his
basically
mouth.
crippled. Zhou Ling was in so much pain that he broke out in cold sweat. His mouth was wide open, and he couldn't even make a sound. Long Fei said coldly, "This is the last time. If you dare touch my people again, I will take your life. Buzz. The power of the killing thought burst forth and directly entered Zhou Ling's sea of consciousness, causing his body to tremble even more. Then, Long Fei looked up at Xiong Feng and said, "Are we irreconcilable? Come on, let me try it out." He couldn't help but curse. Arrogant, extreme arrogance. The aura from Long Fei's body and his eyes that were filled with killing intent completely overwhelmed everything around him. Even Xiong Feng, who was at the second stage of the virtual immortals, was firmly suppressed and did not dare to move even an inch. Long Fei was just that crazy. "Nothing will happen if I don't provoke him, but if you provoke him, he will do anything to cripple you." Seeing that Xiong Feng did not dare to move, Long Fei suddenly roared and shouted, "You dare to touch this daddy? Kill me? If you have the guts, come at me." Xiong Feng was forced to retreat a few steps by the sudden roar. In his heart, he was also confused. Why should I be afraid of him? He's just a waste of the arrogant immortal state. Why should I be afraid of him? He didn't know why, but he was afraid. Xiong Feng said angrily, "Long Fei, you dare make a move against senior fellow apprentice in public and severely injure senior fellow apprentice. I will immediately report to law enforcement agency, and the people there will teach you how to be a person." Long Fei laughed coldly in disdain and said, "You don't dare to go up, so you're called law enforcement agency? Xiong Feng, aren't you the general of the blood skeleton battle team? Aren't you awesome? Didn't you like to find a sense of superiority in our arrogant dragon squad? Your father will give you a chance, but come the F***CK out now." Each word was laced with killing intent. Xiong Feng did not dare to go up. The aura on Long Fei's body was too terrifying. At this moment, Xiong Feng saw that there were a few disciples of the law enforcement agency on the plaza and immediately shouted out, "Someone in the senior fellow apprentice has harmed someone in public. Arrest him! Arrest him!" A few senior fellow apprentice as quickly walked up and looked at the Zhou Ling, who was unconscious because of the pain. Their faces immediately darkened. "Who injured him?" Xiong Feng immediately pointed at Long Fei. "It's him." Just as the three disciples of the law enforcement agency were about to capture Long Fei, their expressions suddenly changed. A disciple said, "Don't sleep here in broad daylight. Who dares to hurt you? Why didn't I see it? He's clearly asleep. If you dare report me again, be careful that I bring you to the law enforcement agency to try the taste of the tiger stool." The three disciples of the law enforcement agency left just like that. Moreover, before leaving, he looked at Long Fei and said, "We didn't see anything." Everyone was shocked. What was going on? He couldn't react at all. Han Xueji and the others thought that Long Fei was going to be taken away by the law enforcement agency, and Wang Qingshan wanted to come up and convict them. However, these normally strict law enforcement agency disciples acted as if nothing had happened. Moreover, their eyes were filled with respect for Long Fei. Xiong Feng was completely dumbstruck. Chapter 780, Restoring the Peak. Chapter 780, Restoring the Peak. Long Fei did not expect this either. However, when he saw the expressions of the law enforcement agency disciples before they left, he knew that Dean 19 was probably watching him from the surroundings. In that case, then, Long Fei became even more arrogant as he looked at Xiong Feng and said, Continue calling. Call back law enforcement agency's senior fellow apprentice." Xiong Feng's face turned green. The faces of the disciples of the blood skeleton battle team turned ugly. Zheng Qingsong became excited and laughed. "Xiong Feng, isn't your blood skeleton battle team good? Didn't they say that we're a dead dog team? Who's the stupid dog team now?" Even the normally low-key Wang Qingshan fiercely exhaled and said, "Xiong Feng, aren't you supposed to be arrogant? Let's continue." The big-sized man said, Xiongfeng, you are also a trash. Arrogant Dragon Squad let out a breath of anger. He was crushed by Xiongfeng and the others to the point that he couldn't even breathe. This feeling was too great. Xiongfeng's face became extremely ugly. He was furious in his heart, but he did not dare move. However, Xiongfeng said coldly, Brat, don't be arrogant. Didn't you say you wanted to step on our blood skeletons team? You guys can't even gather 500 points, and don't even have the qualifications to participate in the ranking tournament. How can you step on our blood skeleton? I think you can only step on yourself, right? Ha ha ha. This was the arrogant Dragon Squad's fatal weakness. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Qingshan and the others immediately became weak. Indeed, if he could not gather 500 points, everything would be for nothing. He did not even have the qualifications to participate in the ranking tournament. What qualifications was he to challenge the blood skeleton? Everything would become a joke. Dao Feng's eyes darkened and said faintly, Long Fei, it's all my fault. At this time, Long Fei laughed disdainfully at Zheng Qingsong and said, Senior fellow apprentice Zheng, you go register at Long
the
Fei
team
smiled
ranking
and
tournament
nodded
and said,
Zheng Qingsong was startled. He did not ask
immediately
why.
said,
And
Impossible
ran
Poison
over.
Dragon Mountain's
Halfway
mission
there,
risk factor has
he suddenly
reached
came
6
to a
stars.
realization.
It's
We don't
impossible
have
for
enough
you
points,
to complete
so
the mission
how can we register?
by yourself.
Could it be
Long
that
Fei
young
said
Master
as he
Long has
coldly
completed
laughed.
the Poison
Xiong
Dragon
Feng,
Mountain's mission?
go back and tell your
Holy
captain that he's
SH,
waiting for us to stomp him to the
T.
ground.
Young
And he
Master
can't get
Long,
up. From today onwards,
finished.
you will be my
Long Fei
Zheng
then walked
Qingsong's
towards the mission
idol.
hall. You feel
Xiong
too
Feng's
good.
eyes darkened, looking
Wang
at Long Fei's
Qingshan
expression.
looked at Long Fei
He
in
should have
shock
truly
and
completed
said,
the mission, which
Long
meant that he
Fei,
had gathered
did you finish the
500
mission
points.
at Poisonous
If that
Dragon
was the
Mountain?
case,
Han
the moment
Xueji
Long
was
Fei stepped
extremely
into the mission
excited
hall,
as she
Xiong
handed
Feng
Dao
suddenly
Feng over to
shouted
the
loudly
big-sized
and said
man.
coldly,
She hugged Long
Brat,
Fei
if I were you,
and
I
wished
would
that
not
she
have
could
handed
go
in
up
the mission
and kiss him ruthlessly.
Unless you want to see those
Dao
two
Feng's
old
eyes
fellows
were also
in the flickering
closed
as he
eye.
looked at Long Fei.
Long Fei
and
suddenly
asked,
stopped.
Long Fei,
Xiong
did you
Feng
really
laughed
finish it?
complacently. Those two old fellows must have some sort of unusual relationship with you, right? As long as you don't hand in your mission today, the two of them will be safe. But how about this? If you dare to turn in a mission, the two of them will die today. His opinion was arranged. Dealing with two old men who were at the final stage of their cultivation was already enough for a disciple to step into the immortal realm. Not to mention, just in case, he had arranged for a small team to be there, and the two old fellows were dead for sure. Kid, don't let the people around you die just because of a mission. Xiong Feng laughed with incomparable pride. Looking at the Dao Feng, who was still excited just a moment ago, he said, Dao Feng, you guys can't enter the ranking tournament. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Xiong Feng laughed wildly. He was sure of the arrogant Dragon Squad. Long Fei definitely did not dare to hand in his mission, because he knew that Long Fei cared deeply about those two elders. This was Long Fei's weakness, his sore spot. However, Long Fei sneered and continued to walk towards the mission hall. Xiong Feng's eyes were filled with anger, and he bellowed, Brat, you really do not care about their lives? Long Fei stopped again and turned around, feeling that it was kind of funny. He felt that Xiong Feng did not know his place and said, If you follow me, then do you know who the two old men living in the call are? Xiong Feng laughed coldly. I don't care who he is, as long as I know something, they are your weakness. If you dare to hand in the mission, they will die a horrible death. Long Fei said, Let me tell you, one of them is the former headmaster. You'd better pray they don't get caught, or, ha ha. At this moment, Xiong Feng's scalp went numb. He shook his head and said, Impossible. It's impossible for them to be the previous headmaster. They simply do not have any cultivation and are just like an ordinary old man. And then Xiong Feng shouted, Even if they are the great principal, so what? They are only trash. Oh. I've sounded the bell. They must be the old guys who had their cultivations destroyed by the experts of the Pan clan, right? One of them must be Chiu Wandao. Ha ha. Since they are two pieces of trash, so what? Who cares if they die? Xiong Feng was not afraid in the slightest, because there would be people dying in this world every day, and no one would care about the deaths of two old trash. Furthermore, in the current God Emperor Academy, no one would stand up for Chiu Wandao, and even if there were, no one would be moved by the death of the White Tiger College of Martial Arts Training. Thinking of this, Xiong Feng started to feel confident. Long Fei felt that it was even more ridiculous and said, if it was 3 days ago, you could say it like this, now. You just wait to collect the corpses of your men. Finished. Long Fei strode into the mission hall. In another place, Chiu Wandao's residence. I don't get it. Why would these trash who study life come here to throw away their lives? Brainless? Or an idiot? Is he a brainless person? The old man was full of energy and didn't look old at all. His eyes were full of energy. Compared to 3 days ago, they seemed like a completely different person. 8 disciples were rolling on the ground, screaming in pain. They could not understand why those old men who were about to die a few days ago were now as lively as dragons and as fierce as tigers. All of them were terrifying experts. They weren't even able to get close. The aura that they released directly broke their minds and seriously injured them to the end. Too strong. Chapter 781, White Tiger Courtyard, Great Elder. Chapter 781, White Tiger Courtyard. Great Elder compared to 2 months ago. Their cultivation was much stronger. Chiu Wandao said excitedly, so what if we destroy it? The young master really did not lie to us. Chiu Wandao could feel that the power in his body was much stronger than before, and they could feel that it was pouring into their bodies. It was as though he could break through at any time. This feeling, too awesome. If his cultivation were to recover, he would become stronger, and his longevity would recover as well. It was as if they were alive again. He had been reborn. It was Long Fei who had allowed them to be reborn. In the courtyard of logistics department, Zhang Qingsong ran in and laughed. He reported his name. Ha! The name was reported. We were the last to report our names. We're only a few minutes away from the deadline. It scared me to death. Zhang Qingsong's face was filled with excitement as he walked to Long Fei's side and said, Young Master Long, you're really too handsome today. He's so handsome that he dropped to the ground. Long Fei's arrogance had subdued every single one of them. The unyielding and unyielding aura that came from Long Fei's body made them deeply feel that this was the way of the world. Han Shueji said, My man is indeed different. Of course he's handsome, and I still need you to say it. While speaking, she grabbed Long Fei's arm, and her chest even rubbed against Long Fei's arm, throwing out a flirtatious glance, which was incomparably enticing. Chapter 782. She just liked to tease Long Fei. Chapter 782 was already used to it,
Trump
and
card,
said in the small courtyard of logistics
we still
department,
have 3 months
after
to
Zheng
prepare.
Qingsong,
And
the others left.
definitely
The small
not let this
courtyard
matter rest.
once again regained its
You all
calm.
have to be careful.
Sun Datu
Finished.
and the others had
Long
not
Fei
interjected.
took out
When
the 10,000
and the others were around
from the space
they rarely
ring and
spoke
handed it over to
and did not
Dao
interrupt.
Senior
They just
fellow
stood there
apprentice Dao
quietly
Feng.
like invisible
This is what I
people.
prepared for you.
After they left,
You are a
only
dual
then
wielder,
did Sun Datu
so it should be
and
able
the
to
others
help
come
you
over
improve
and
your
said,
fighting
Long
strength
Fei,
a lot.
Everything that happened
Dao
today
Feng
has
looked
spread
at the two
throughout the
blades
academy.
in Long Fei's
Some
hands.
people said that
His
your
eyes
backer was
immediately
law
became
enforcement
excited
agency and did not dare to receive
The enforcement
it.
of
This
laws
is a
by the
mortal
disciples
stage
of law
divine
enforcement
equipment
agency
level
was
item.
very strict.
It's too
They had
valuable.
clearly seen
The
Long
first thing
Fei
he did
cripple Zhou
was to
Ling,
attack the
so they
immortal
couldn't help
stage
but to
divine
capture
equipment.
him.
However,
Huang Qingshan,
it was
and the
as
others
if they
were
hadn't
all
seen
shocked.
it. This was
Looking
too
at the two
unbelievable.
blades in
Long
Fei's
Fei
hands.
laughed.
He
Then
felt
said,
even more
Speak on their
admiration.
bodies as they
Who
wish.
would give a
immortal
Fei
stage
did not
divine
care about
equipment
any of
to
this.
someone else.
Long Fei asked.
Long Fei said,
Leader Sun,
if I let you
how
take
many
it,
types is the
then
Academy
take it.
competition?
You are the captain
You have
of the
an alchemy
arrogant dragon
competition?
squad.
So the
Sundata
thing in
said,
your hand
there
cannot
is
be too
the
shabby.
Academy's competition
Also,
can be divided into
I'll
8
leave
categories.
Xiongfeng to you.
Team
If he
ranking,
enters the
personal
stage,
qualifying
you
fight,
must trample
alchemy
him under your
engraved
feet.
formations,
This is your mission,
refining
and
poison,
also the condition
beast
for you to
controlling,
wield my
and
2
College of
blades.
Martial Arts Training.
It's not for
ranking.
free.
Other than the fact that College of Martial Arts Training's strength and ranking were slightly different, the other competitions would compete against each other to obtain victory and obtain the corresponding points. College of Martial Arts Training passed the overall ranking of disciples. Which disciple of the College of Martial Arts Training obtained a lot of points, that College of Martial Arts Training was precisely first place. Long Fei then asked, we need to register for the ranking tournament. There is a point limit. Then are there any restrictions for the other competitions? There were only 3 months left, so Long Fei had to make some preparations as well. In the large competition 3 months from now, he would definitely concoct a unique pill, one that the Pan clan would not be able to replicate. He needed fairy stones, and he needed a lot of them. Also, the Fengyuan Merchant Union must rise up as well. They could not let it sink like this. Sundata said, it requires both the original points and the registration. Do you want to participate in other matches? Long Fei said, is the registration deadline for alchemy ended? Sundata said, not yet. Only the deadline for the registration is the fastest. Because the teams have a lot of people, they have to be divided up. The other matches will end in 2 months' time, and that is half a month before the Academy competition. Alchemy requires 300 alchemy points. Inscribing for an array requires 200 points, refining 280 points, taming 180 points. Sun Datu recounted the conditions of the competition in detail. Wang Qingshan was shocked and said, damn, teacher, Aoya is indeed correct. You are a genius, a super genius. Teacher Oya's mission is to see through the opponent's weaknesses. Wang Qingshan looked at Long Fei and said, can you undo it? Long Fei was silent for a moment. Wang Qingshan smiled slightly and said, the insight into sword skill is a sword technique created by teacher Aoya, and it has not been perfected yet. However, there was a time when a sword master from the Heavenly Hall of Immortals said that the insight into sword skill was a divine, level sword technique. Just as Wang Qingshan was saying all these, Long Fei's mind started to spin. All he could think of were the skills of Grand Duelist S. Insight into weakness? What's the point? Long Fei's mind started to wildly deduce this. At the same time, his 400% of comprehension power started to revolve crazily, making Long Fei's brain fly into the air just like an energy fuel. Wang Qingshan looked at Long Fei's silent face and said, I'll go and issue the mission first. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes lit up and he said excitedly, I know. Overlay, Wang Qingshan was given a big fright by Long Fei and asked, what did you say? Long Fei said, the weakness of dealing with it lies in superimposing it. Wang Qingshan did not understand. He had just cultivated the insight into sword skill and hadn't even touched the door. So how could he understand what Long Fei meant by stack? Long Fei laughed. There's no need to post your mission. Go back and say 2 words to Aoya. Wang Qingshan was dumbstruck. He looked at Long Fei with eyes full of puzzlement and asked, you know about insight into sword skill? This is an immortal rank divine technique. You haven't even cultivated yet. How can you understand? Teacher Oya is very strict. If she knew that I didn't post the mission, she wouldn't have forgiven me. Wang Qingshan was in disbelief because he was very clear on the power of the insight into sword skill, and even his great sword master, teacher Aoya, was unable to think of a question. Yet Long Fei could think it through in less than a minute. Even a super genius wouldn't be that abnormal, right? Long Fei said, don't worry. She will definitely understand. Don't tell me that I said it, just tell me that you thought of it yourself. She might even teach you more things. Wang Qingshan immediately said, Young Master Long, you don't want to harm me at all. I don't want to practice the sword drawing arts another 100,000 times. I'm really going to die. Long Fei said, Rest assured, go. I'm saving points for her. Wang Qingshan left skeptically, clenching his teeth in his heart. He thought to himself, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Long Fei then walked to the mission hall. Alchemy mission. Long Fei looked at the mission issued by the College of Martial Arts Training, looking for 9 flower fairy grass. Task level B, points 50 points. Mission clue, Shili Desert. Long Fei had just finished speaking. Yan Huang Ancestor said, Take this mission. Huh. Long Fei was startled and asked, Why? Yan Huang Ancestor said, Right now, you have the Snowman King's heart and the Undying Vine's heart. You are still missing one thing, the Desert Sand Crystal. I can roughly feel that you are participating in the College of Martial Arts Training Tournament. Long Fei's mind tightened and said, The Desert Sand Crystal you mentioned is really in Shili Desert. Yan Huang Ancestor replied, I don't know if it's in the Shili Desert or not, but I do know that it's definitely in the desert, and your current Dragon Salyer level is even lower. You have to hurry and level it up. Long Fei said, Then let's go to Shili Desert. Just as the Yan Huang Ancestor had said, the level of Dragon Salyer really could not keep up. After the Black Dragon Ancestor devoured the power of the head of the Yuan Long, his cultivation level became even stronger, but the Dragon Salyer became weaker. This way, he would not be able to keep up and would not be able to reach that state of balance in power. Once the Dragon Salyer lost its balance, its power would be greatly reduced, and it would not be able to release it. The Dragon Salyer is currently only at the 3rd level. When can he be promoted to the top rank? Long Fei had a feeling that the Dragon Salyer was very likely to be the key to unlocking the gate to the Dragon Domain. Long Fei walked to the mission window. It's that cute little junior sister again. When she saw Long Fei, she was slightly shocked and said joyfully, Senior brother, you took a mission again? Long Fei said, Amen, I will accept the alchemy mission, the mission of the 9 flower fairy grass. Chapter 784, The Goddess Oya. Chapter 784. The Goddess Oya, the little junior sister, is very cute. Not only did she remind him that the Shili Desert was in danger, she even gave him a sweet dew pill. Although this pill was not expensive, it had a miraculous effect. The little junior sister whispered, Senior brother, I refined this myself. It might not be too bright. Hee. Long Fei said, You are from the Spirit Pill College of Martial Arts Training? The little junior sister nodded her head. I am a part-time worker in the mission hall, earning some points to exchange for spirit grasses. My fighting strength is very weak. No one is willing to take me. I can only come here to earn points part-time. Long Fei laughed. Next time I'll bring you. The little junior sister immediately became excited. Senior brother, is what you said true? Long Fei replied, Of course. The little junior sister was extremely happy as she said, Senior brother, let's pull the hook. After saying that, she extended her pinky out, as if she was afraid that Long Fei would go back on his words. Long Fei extended his pinky too, and said with a smile, Senior brother will not lie to you. Little junior sister was very happy, looking at Long Fei's distant figure. She had never been this happy before. This was the first time she was this happy since she entered the God Emperor Academy. The Yan Huang Ancestor teased, Brat, that little brat has taken a fancy to you. Long Fei disdainfully said, Ancestor, she is just a little girl. Your thoughts are too evil. Was the reason why you fell in Chaos Realm because the little girls took liberties with you and were blocked by their parents and ended up dying after a fierce beating? Cough, cough, cough. Yen Huang ancestor almost vomited blood. Do you still need me to tease a little girl? This sovereign's long and elegant jade tree is elegant, and those young ladies have all given it to me. I'm not like you. I'm still a virgin in my 20s. You're too disgraceful. Long Fei's body sank. The 9 million points of damage behind Yen Huang ancestor's words was instantly destroyed. Yen Huang ancestor asked, "Are you suffering from liver pain again?" Long Fei said, "You go away, I don't want to talk to you." He was a virgin, and he felt pain in his heart. However, it was different from his previous life. In his previous life, Long Fei was just a playboy, that's all. But in the gods' martial continent, he had a woman. He could wait. Long Fei walked to the teleportation formation platform and said to the senior brother, who was protecting the array, "Shili Desert." The senior brother was startled and said, "That is an extremely arid area. It is extremely dangerous. You have to be careful." Long Fei replied politely, "Thank you, senior brother, for your reminder. I will be careful," was swallowed by the white light and entered the teleportation circle. At this moment, Long Fei picked up the wine jar. The corner of He Shan's mouth lifted as he laughed complacently. "That's more like it," not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei's eyes were filled with rage. He raised the wine jar and leaped up into the air, and the wine jar smashed down fiercely onto He Shan's head. "Be good, your sister." Walala! The wine jar shattered, and the He Shan fell down as well. The stench of urine wafted through the air. What was in this jug was not wine, but the urine he had secretly peed earlier. Suddenly, it stunned everyone in the tavern. Half a second later, everyone was shocked. "Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Hey Sean, you have this day as well. Ha ha ha!" Everyone laughed out loud. Long Fei took a whiff and felt a wave of disgust. It was also at this time. He Shan crawled up from the ground and shouted, "Brat, you're dead for sure today." It was also at this moment that Long Fei glared at him and bellowed, "Scram to the side." Bam! Without waiting for He Shan to fully crawl back up, his right foot suddenly lashed out. Bam! He Shan grabbed Long Fei's feet with a fierce glint in his eyes. Very powerful. The surrounding people immediately revealed a mocking expression. "It's a gamble. A gamble. I bet that this kid will have a broken leg. I bet he broke his leg and fainted. I bet he'll pee in his pants from fright. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." The crowd laughed again. The reason why Long Fei was able to defeat the He Shan was all because of a sneak attack. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to be a match for the He Shan with his cultivation of the 8th stage of the Wild Immortal stage. One had to know that he was a virtual immortal stage cultivator. It was also at this time. Beside him stood a black wooden box. Inside the box was what seemed to be a weapon. His voice was somewhat cold, and he said indifferently, "I bet that he will be knocked flying. He Shan will be sent flying." The man did not introduce. Old man Chen did not introduce them. Many people glanced at him and instantly quieted down. The knife-scarred man stood up, unconvinced. "He Shan, if you don't cripple him today, you are a woman." The veins on He Shan's forehead popped out as he grabbed onto Long Fei's right leg with both of his hands. Break for me. The He Shan's power was very strong. However, Long Fei's strength increased even more as he shouted in his heart, "Power of the Golden Dragon, lift your legs." Boom! Bang! With a loud noise, a golden light exploded from Long Fei's right leg, and with a flash of golden light, He Shan spitted out both his eyes. His eyes became bloodshot as an incomparably painful expression appeared on his face. Bam! Its huge body flew out and flipped 3 tables over. Then it crashed into the wall before coming to a stop. He gripped his crotch, his body twitching and his face turning pale. Only he could feel the pain. The knife-scarred man was not convinced. The one he was unconvinced with was not Long Fei, but the middle-aged man in the corner. Staring at Long Fei, he bellowed, "Kid, let's see how strong you are." The corners of Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he stared at the knife-scarred man and said coldly, "Not much stronger, just a little stronger than you. You're courting death." Just as he was about to attack Long Fei, the tavern's door was pushed open and Huang Sha came in. Uncle Chen's face sank. "Why are you fighting? Dao Ba, do you still want a reward?" Old man Chen first glanced at the middle-aged man in the corner, then looked at He Shan, who was screaming miserably not far away, and then looked at Long Fei. The knife-scarred man withdrew his aura and smiled. "Supervisor Chen, since you have nothing to do, why don't you take care of this for a bit?" His eyes stared at Long Fei and said softly, "Brat, you be careful." Old man Chen did not say any more. He walked to the side of the He Shan and said, "Can we still escort him?" "If it's not possible." He Shan endured the pain and got up, saying, "Yes, yes, yes." His eyes were filled with fear. Long Fei thought, "The strongest is Elder Chen?" Yan Huang ancestor said, "These people aren't simple. I also want to know what kind of things are being escorted. This journey should be very interesting. Hee hee." It was unknown who shouted this, but a dozen or so guards in the team rose into the air, the Zamadeo in their hands swept out, heavily slashing the sand scorpion's tail. Clang, clang. Fiery light scattered in all directions. The blades in their hands did not work at all. It was as if they were chopping at steel. "Defend!" Another sound rang out. The other 10 followed suit and erected their shields. Bang, bang, bang. The poisonous stingers from the sand scorpion's tail couldn't penetrate the huge shield, so the 20-plus people landed safely at the same time. The defenses of these sand scorpions are very strong. Their weakness isn't in their tails. Head, he quickly reorganized the attack plan. The speed of thunder was average. Long Fei was secretly impressed. Such a well-trained, well-coordinated team is actually acting as guards. Just who are these people? Boom. The head of a sand scorpion had been split open, and dark green, viscous liquid flowed out from it. Head attack effective. Understood. After the successful attack, the attacks of the 20 men landed on the sand scorpions' heads with incomparable accuracy. 10 minutes later, the sand scorpions were all crippled. However, they did not withdraw. This was very strange. Moreover, their target did not seem to be these human foods, the goods in the middle of 20 circles. Chief Steward Chen's brows tightened, and his heart sank. It was also at this time. The middle-aged man said lightly, "There is a sand scorpion king." Long Fei's eyes widened. "Boss." The scorpion's tail broke off, and a dark green poison splattered onto the ground. Half of the tail went down between the knife-scarred man's eyebrows. There was still half a centimeter left before his body was split into 2 halves. Seeing the scene in front of him, the knife-scarred man was so scared that his legs went soft. If not for Long Fei, he would already be dead. Woo, 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 woo. The monster under the ground let out a painful wail, and the scorpion transformed back into the ground. Everyone came to their senses. They all looked at Long Fei, dumbstruck, especially the middle-aged uncle. His gaze was fixated on Long Fei, and upon seeing the dragon salyer in his hands, the black box on his back lightly trembled. Dao Ba turned around and looked at Long Fei, who was falling from the sky. Plop! Dao Ba immediately knelt down and kowtowed to Long Fei and said, "Thank you. From today onwards, you are my master, Dao Ba." His voice was very heavy. Not a joke at all. Long Fei stared blankly for a moment, then said, The reason why I saved you is also to send you off on a mission. Don't put it in your heart. Dao Ba said, You saved me, so my life is yours. He thought he was going to die from the previous scene, but Long Fei had saved him. He had originally wanted to play with Long Fei on the road, but he didn't know how he could do it. He was not qualified at all. His black eyes also became passionate, from teasing to admiration. They were all outlaws. However, they had never changed their faith in strength. They truly admired the strong, and the power that Long Fei had just displayed was incomparably admirable. Chapter 789, Boss, Burst. Chapter 789, Boss, Burst. They were desperate criminals, the savages of the martial arts world. But they were loyal. Dao Ba once swore that whoever could save his life would become his master. He was a slave because he hated the fact that he had killed all of the slave owners and fled to this place, but now he was willing to become someone else's servant. The surrounding people looked at Long Fei in disbelief. Manager Chen secretly thought again, this kid is really not simple. In that situation, when that power exploded out, even if he was slightly weaker, he would still be unable to cut off the scorpion tail. That way, Dao Ba would not be able to escape death. But he did it. However, it wasn't over yet. Long Fei said slightly, Let's talk about this later. The guy underground is still here. And then Long Fei looked at Manager Chen tentatively and said, Chief Chen, what exactly is in this pile? Why is this sand Scorpio targeting it? Not us. It was a very normal thing for Demon Beast to eat humans. However, Demon Beast glutton? This was an impossible task. Unless the goods were something even Demon Beast wanted. Would the Demon Beast even want it? What was that? Ancestor, can you sense it? The Yen Huang ancestor shook his head and said, There is a powerful boundary rune on it. It wraps the aura inside, but cannot detect it. Long Fei asked, How did the Demon Beast detect it? Yen Huang ancestor replied, I'm not sure either. Maybe the Demon Beast in the desert have some kind of special attribute. He could not understand this point either. He tried to sense what was inside the goods more than once, but it wasn't just one boundary inside, but 3 boundary S. Using 3 boundary S to wrap the goods, not letting the aura of the goods out. What exactly was it? Yen Huang ancestor did not expect this at all. Everyone looked towards Manager Chen. They also wanted to know what exactly they were escorting. Manager Chen said slightly, I don't know either. Clearly he was lying. Dao Ba said, Old man Chen, do you take us for idiots? My master said very clearly that these sand scorpions are here for this thing. What exactly is inside? The Heishan added, Yes, what is it? Even if we die for sure, right? Following that, another few people began to talk. Manager Chen's eyes darkened. I will pay for your escort. As for what the goods are, you have no right to ask. I have no right to reveal any information about the goods. Dao Ba was dissatisfied. Old man Chen, isn't this a bit bad for you? We gave our lives to you, but you didn't tell us. How are we supposed to follow you in the future? If this goes on, things will get out of hand. Long Fei still had a mission, and his goal in the desert was to find the 9-flower fairy grass, so he could not let the group leave, and said, Since that's the case, Chief Chen, at least let us know when we reach our destination, right? Chapter 790, Sunset Canyon. Chapter 790, Sunset Canyon, the system sounded out. Long Fei checked his striking energy value and discovered that he did not have 100 points and could only sigh lightly, I am truly displeased to have no striking attribute at all. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Sand Scorpion King, for obtaining 800,000 experience, 10,000 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Golden Weapon Monster Mark. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Sand Scorpion King Blood Vein. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Sand Scorpion Dagger. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Sand Scorpion King Egg 1. You wish to hatch? The system beep frantically sounded. Long Fei was a little stunned, hearing the constant beeps. His heart was startled, and he thought to himself, luck has erupted to think that there would be so many things dropped. Ding! The Sand Scorpion King's blood vein was swallowed by the dragon Salyer. Ancestor, you should keep the Sand Scorpio dagger, right? Leave it for senior sister Han. She should be able to keep the dagger with you. Long Fei said. Yan Huang Ancestor grinned. That woman with big breasts and big, but that always seduces you. For black lines appeared on Long Fei's forehead. Yan Huang Ancestor said, seeing that her breasts are relatively bigger, leave it to her. Arrogant Dragon Squad's strength must be increased. Long Fei wanted to create all of them and upgrade their equipment to a super luxurious lineup. Are you very strong? Are you as strong as me, the holy artifact? What did a holy artifact represent? What about that pile of holy artifact? Do you believe that I, your father, will smash you to death with my holy artifact? This was what Long Fei wanted. Couldn't beat you? I will smash you to death with my holy artifact. Huh. Suddenly, Long Fei looked at the Big Space Ring's golden goblin mark, the one that was on top of the Sand Scorpion King's head. What is this? Isn't that golden flare the symbol of its position as the leader? The Yan Huang Ancestor said, this thing is not bad. It can allow the weapon to fuse with the demon beast's power. Once you merge the demon mark with the weapon, you will be able to unleash the power of this Sand Scorpion King. If your refining techniques reaches a certain level, or when your luck increases, you will be able to refine a demon-striped weapon. It will be both a weapon and a demon beast. Long Fei was shocked. So strong. Yan Huang Ancestor said, of course its strong demon beast with demon imprints are rarely seen. In the future, when you see this kind of demon beast, you must definitely kill it and must not let it go. Long Fei noted it down in his heart. Then he looked at the Sand Scorpion King's egg and thought to himself, Shang Qingsong is an array master. His strong point is an array. If he gets near enough, he will definitely die miserably. Although this Sand Scorpion King's egg is not a high-level beast, it's still considered to be a boss-level war pet. If it's nurtured properly, it should be a pretty good war pet. After Long Fei finished checking the items, he felt a cold gaze on him, and a murderous intent rushed to his side. Manager Chun. He stared at Long Fei and bellowed, Kid, what rights do you have to move the goods? Finished. From his bosom, he took out 4 fairy stones and threw them at Long Fei's feet. Take your commission, scram. I don't need you anymore. A sudden change. The excited crowd instantly quieted down. They were all cheering and killing the Sand Scorpion King, but they were all scared by Manager Chen's raging anger. Long Fei was shocked. This was only Manager Chen's excuse. He could not let someone he could not control be in the team. To him, this was a threat. Moreover, in that instant just now, when the carriage was blasted up into the sky by Long Fei, his heart went cold, and he was incomparably afraid. If the goods were to fall out, then the consequences would be. He could not let anyone discover him. Dao Ba stepped forward and asked, Old Man Chen, what do you mean? If it wasn't for my master, not to mention the goods, even you would have died. He Shan also followed. Chief Chen, your fire is not a place, right? Without this kid, your goods have already been devoured by the Sand Scorpio. He saved us just now. Chief Chun, let's just forget about it. Yeah. Many people spoke up for Long Fei. Long Fei picked up the fairy stones on the ground and said, "Since that's the case, then—" At this moment, Dao Ba threw a fairy stones at Manager Chen's feet and said, "My master is leaving, and I'm leaving too. Anyways, this mission is causing me to panic, so I might as well escape as soon as possible." He Shan clenched his teeth and said, "I will also withdraw. I'm leaving too. I'm leaving too." Many people had to leave, because without the demon beast pulling the carriage, it was impossible to leave the desert without them. Chief Steward Chen's expression tightened. His heart sank as well. To make these people listen to him in just a few days, this kid is even more complicated than I imagined. Immediately, Manager Chen faintly smiled and returned to his rich and smiling expression. He said, "I was too excited just now. That's why I said that. Apologize for performance. All of your commissions have been increased by 10%. When we arrive at our destination, I will even receive a special reward." Manager Chen smiled as he looked at Long Fei and said, "Little big bro, my tone was too bold just now. Don't take it to heart. It's really because this item is related to my family, so I have to be careful." Long Fei said, "I will be more careful in the future." Manager Chen said, All right. Please go all the way." Long Fei said, "Chief Chen, I am not interested in your goods. I came to the desert to look for 9-flower fairy grass. You said that you have seen it before. Can you tell me where you have seen it before?" Manager Chen must be soothed. Moreover, the more Long Fei thought about it, the more he was sure that this goods was not simple. "What was it?" Chief Steward Chen said, "It's about 2 days' journey away. The last time I saw it was in a gorge. I don't know if it was picked up or not." At this moment, the Yan Huang ancestor immediately said, "He's lying to you. 9-flower fairy grass won't grow in the canyon. It will only grow in the scorching sun's sand." Long Fei did not reveal an expression and said, "Then I'll be thanking Chief Chen." Yan Huang ancestor said, "He should have the intention to kill you. You should be careful." Long Fei laughed coldly in his heart and said, "There are so many people who want to kill me. Who the hell is he?" He naturally knew that Chen Duo wanted to kill him. The cultivation of the killing path was not just for show. He could clearly feel a person's killing intent towards him. He rested for half an hour before setting off again. In the next 2 days, they were relatively calm, and the demon beast they met were all low-level demon beast. The team slowly split into 2 groups, with Long Fei, Dao Ba, He Shan, and the rest as the leaders, and the other group being Manager Chen's group. The middle-aged man basically didn't care. "We've arrived at Sunset Valley. After we pass through this valley, we will see them in 3 days. Manager Chen looked at the canyon ahead with a smile on his face. He heaved a sigh of relief and said, "We have finally arrived." Chapter 791, Ancient Gold Corpse. Chapter 791, Ancient Gold Corpse. Sunset Valley was a crimson stone gorge. This was the first important supply station of Shili Desert. Within the gorge, there was a hidden river. Everyone who was familiar with the Shili Desert knew, upon seeing setting Sun Valley, everyone's heart relaxed. Arriving here meant that they had to leave the Shili Desert and step into the territory of the wilderness. "Master, the Dawn Shroud Valley is right in front of us. I have never heard of the 9-flower fairy grass before. If what Old Man Chen said is true, then it should be here." Dao Ba slowly said. Manager Chen said loudly, "Once we enter the valley, everyone can rest for the day. Then all of you can leave the Shili Desert in one go." Long Fei looked at the huge canyon not far away and had a bad premonition. Moreover, it was very strange that they had not encountered any powerful demon beast since they had met the sand scorpion. The Silly Desert was also considered a forbidden area. although it was not as rampant as the other forbidden grounds in the mountain range. The number of demon beasts here was no less than in the mountain range. However, they had not met each other for the past few days. Strangely enough, this is generally impossible. Everyone hurry up. We will be able to rest once we enter the canyon. Many people quicken their pace. The person pushing the carriage became even more diligent. 1 hour later, after escorting the guards into the canyon, everything was the same as before. There weren't any obstructions. The area of the canyon wasn't large, but it was very complicated. If one wasn't careful, they would lose their sense of direction. Rumble! After they had all entered the canyon's entrance let out a loud sound. The mountain collapsed and blocked the entrance. Everyone was startled. He was frightened by the sudden loud sound. One-Eyed ran back and said, "The entrance is blocked. Basically, we can't get out." Manager Chen did not panic. He was calm and a bit abnormal as he said, "As long as the exit is still there, then we will no longer need to travel through this desert after this mission." Not waiting for him to finish, a loud sound came from afar. Rumble! It was also the sound of mountains collapsing. Heishan's face sank. It's the direction of the exit. The mountain has collapsed. It's a little abnormal, Chief Chen. Could it be that someone wants to rob the way of the Tao? It's impossible for both the exit and the entrance to collapse at the same time. The journey was too quiet. It was unusually quiet. Could it be that the bandits from the desolate land have come? There were all sorts of guesses in the crowd. Chief Steward Chen's brows also tightened. He thought to himself, "What's going on? Isn't it the same as the agreement?" However, he was still very calm as he said, "Don't worry, as long as we have water, we will be able to endure. Isn't it just a landslide? Dozens of us have dug it out." Manager Chen was very optimistic. He was right. There was hope if there was water in the desert. As long as there was water. The water they had brought with them was almost used up. They could only hold on for half a day at most, but that was already enough. But before Chief Steward Chen could finish his words, a loud sound came from the depths of the canyon. A large part of the mountain had collapsed. This time, the middle-aged man's eyes turned cold. The valley at the entrance of the underground river has also collapsed, and the water source has been cut off. This is the tempo of someone trying to trap us to death. There must be someone. F***CK. If you have the guts, then come out. What is it? Obviously, this was definitely man-made. It was impossible for them to leave this place. The entrance and water source were all cut off. This was a path to their death. It was also at this time, a voice echoed out from the valley, "Leave that thing behind, and I'll spare your lives." As expected, Long Fei's heart sank. Sure enough, they're here for this goods. If that's the case, someone must have leaked the news out. Should we leak the news in the tavern or their escorting team? Long Fei carefully observed Chen Tu. His eyes filled with anger, which showed that he was not one of them. Manager Chen's voice sank. "May I ask which hero you are? Can we meet for a bit?" "Meet? There's no need for us to meet, right? As long as you leave what I want here, you can leave alive." The voice came again. "Manager," Chen said, "you bandits only do it for the money. I have 1,000 fairy stones on me. Hero, buy some wine for us brothers, and let us go. What do you think?" "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Old man Chen, you sent me off with 1,000 fairy stones? Do you think we're beggars? That item should be worth at least thousands of immortal crystals, right? You have 1,000 fairy stones. How lucky of you to say that." Laughter rang out from the valley. His business fell. The faces of Daoba and the others all changed. 1,000 fairy stones was already an astronomical number. Ordinary families would not be able to afford it for 10 lifetimes, but 1,000 immortal crystals. What kind of concept was this? One immortal crystal was equivalent to 100,000 fairy stones, and 1,000 immortal crystals was an unimaginable number. Dao Ba could not help but ask, "Chief Chen, what exactly is the thing that we are escorting?" He Shan could not help but ask, "You can't treat us as fools, right? We should at least know what exactly these 1,000 immortal crystals are, right?" Chief Steward Chen anxiously tried to defend himself. "Don't listen to his nonsense. It's not like what he said at all." "Yo, nice act. Old man Chen, do you want me to say it?" The person in the valley seemed to be right next to them. Chief Steward Chen's face was livid as he solemnly asked, "What do you want?" "Ha ha ha. Old man Chen, are you afraid?" "What I said just now was very clear. I want that goods. As long as you leave the goods behind, I can spare your lives." That person said proudly. This time, he was going to eat the goods. With this thing, he would be able to become an overlord of a region, and even become a strong ranker at the pinnacle of God's martial continent. Supervisor Chen said heavily, "This item is impossible to give you." "Absolutely not. This was his life. Even if I give him my life, I can't give him this." Long Fei was even more curious in his heart, but at the same time, he was also observing the people around Manager Chen, not sparing a single one of them. Finally, Long Fei's gaze landed on a lean man who stood at the very back of the group. A voice rang out from the valley once again. "In that case, all of you must die." As soon as he finished, the man said with great interest, "Ancient gold corpse, you cannot swallow this thing, old man Chen." "He's mine." "Ha ha ha." Supervisor Chen's face changed drastically. His body's aura also burst out as he roared out, "Who the hell are you? How do you know about ancient gold corpse?" Long Fei's heart trembled as he asked, "Ancestor, what are ancient gold corpse?" In the instant that Thin Monkey left without a sound, Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, curled the corner of his lips, and laughed to himself. "I guess I exposed my tail. Let's see where you can run to this time." After Thin Monkey left, Long Fei woke Manager Chen up, and then the group of people followed him out. 10 minutes later, He Shan and Yu Shan stopped. Then he turned around. He Shan sneered and said, "Come out." Thin Monkey's face darkened as he walked out from a rock. Killing intent filled his eyes as he said, "How did you two pieces of trash find me?" He Shan's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, "Thin Monkey, I didn't think that you were actually a spy." Thin Monkey's gaze tensed up. His killing intent grew even stronger as he said, "He Shan, so what if the two of you know? Can the dead speak? You'd better tell me the location of the underground river. I will let you die without any pain, or else—" At this moment, Long Fei walked out and laughed lightly. Otherwise, what would happen? Manager Chen and the others also walked out. Killing intent. The expression in Thin Monkey's eyes changed as he stared at Long Fei. "You blew me up?" Long Fei laughed. "You only just found out?" "Attack." Dao Ba moved and instantly rushed forward. Thin Monkey's eyes were filled with contempt and said, "With just you?" "Shua." Without waiting for Dao Ba's attack to fall, Thin Monkey had already threw out a palm attack. Bam! He pushed Dao Ba back with one palm. Long Fei's expression changed. "You've been hiding this entire time?" But Steward Chen could not care so much. The two guards beside him both rushed forward. With a wave of his two blades, he cut off both of Thin Monkey's arms. Blood sprayed wildly. Thin Monkey laughed sinisterly. "Old man Chen, you've already lost." Manager Chen's face changed. "Ancient gold corpse." Continuing to explode today. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.